Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are taking a look at needle nose pliers. So Project Farm did a video a while back, and I do have to say the guy over at Project Farm, he does a phenomenal job testing and comparing products, not just pliers, but I mean he does all sorts of things, and he does a phenomenal job at it. But one video that I wanted to look at in particular was he had a video about long nose pliers and comparing long nose pliers. In the video, the Knipex long nose pliers, they did a good job, but there was a part of his testing where he was putting torsional torque, twisting torque on the actual jaws of the needle nose pliers to see how they held up. And the Knipex, they held up fine considering how much load he was putting on those pliers, but they didn't hold up as good as some other pliers as far as that goes. So I wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit and really compare and see if the Knipex long nose pliers are as bad as the video might have suggested. So long nose pliers, they are a very useful tool. They're extremely handy, extremely versatile. They can help you get out of a lot of jams. There is a difference between needle nose pliers, such as these, and long nose pliers. Now, I know that term is used interchangeably, but I did do a video, which I'll put a card up in the upper right-hand corner if you want to go check out the differences between needle nose pliers like this and long nose pliers. But back to Project Farm's video. So the Knipex needle nose or long nose pliers, they held up pretty good except for at the end of the video where he was putting the torsional stress on the jaws. Now, I want to kind of take a minute to point out a couple things about the Knipex long nose pliers compared to some of the other long nose pliers you're going to see out there. So these, I'm pretty sure, is the same model of long nose plier that he used in the video. So if we look at this plier, and you know, it's typical Knipex quality. These are brand new, just came out of the box. I do have another pair of these that I use, but I did want to get a new pair just to kind of show you guys how they are fresh out of the box. There's no break-in period with Knipex tools. They are super smooth, super silky, and they're amazing. Now, I've had these Milwaukees for quite some time, and these are okay. They are, you know, pretty beefy, which can kind of get in the way at times as far as using it in certain instances when I need, you know, a long nose plier that's a little bit thinner profile than that, but it does have a reamer. These are pretty beefy. They're not my favorite, but for a pair to beat up on, they do just fine. And then of course you have channel locks, and I also have this kind of generic pair here that are super old that I just kind of threw out here. I'm not even sure where these even came from, but if we look at the Knipex, you can see how smooth they are. If we look at the Milwaukees, they are smooth now, but they did not come that way. Now, they are smoother than channel locks, which channel lock is notorious for having stiff pliers. I mean, their pliers have always been extremely stiff, but I can't hate on channel lock too much. They do a fairly good job as far as with the tools that they make. Another thing that I want to point out is the Knipex long nose pliers are roughly the same price as channel lock, the Milwaukees, the Kleins. They run and they're just over $25. So they aren't like this super expensive tool from Knipex that is twice as much as the competitors that it was going up against in the video. It's literally, the price of them is right in the ballpark of a lot of the other plier manufacturers. Now, you do have like the Craftsman, the low budget Craftsman ones and stuff like that, and I believe those perform pretty well, those and the Irwins, which those are pretty good budget tools overall. They make pretty solid budget tools. Now, one thing I do want to point out about the Knipex long nose plier is just how much of working end you have in comparison to the handle. So if we look at the plier is, it's 8 inches. And of that 8 inches, just above the joint here, just measuring the jaws themselves, the business end, that comes out at right around 3 inches and 1/8. So of the 8 inches of tool, about 40% of the tool is the working business end, which is extremely handy. Now let's compare that to the Milwaukee. It's a similar size tool. It's actually comes in at about 8 3/16 of an inch. Now the working end of the tool was about 2.5. So out of 8, that's what, about a quarter of the tool is the business end. So it's probably around 30%, I'd say, maybe even less than that, probably 25% is the business end. Now, yeah, I know these are smaller, but let's look at the ratio of the handle to the jaws. So these are 6 inches, right on the money, and the jaws are right at 2 inches. So that's about a third. So about 33% of its length is the jaw. And why is that important? Well, with long nose pliers, rarely are you going to be in situations where you're really torquing something really hard. And another thing I want to mention is because the nose on these are so long, it's not going to be quite as robust in a twisting force or a torsional force as something like this. They're also skinnier, much skinnier, and the profile stays thinner much longer. So of course, if you're going to test robustness, I would argue that these would probably even hold up better under extreme torsional force than what these would, just from the nature of how these needle nose pliers are constructed. So while Project Farm does a great job over there, a lot of those tests, they don't tell the full story. I'm a huge fan of Knipex tools. I think they make a lot of great tools. They do make a few duds that I stay away from. I'm not sponsored by Knipex or anything like that. They don't pay me to say anything. I bought this tool with my own money, but I did just want to kind of respond to that video in essence, and kind of point out the differences and some of the pros of getting a set of Knipex needle nose pliers. These pliers are more like a Corvette versus a Dodge Ram, or, well, it's not Dodge Ram anymore, but like a Ram truck. These are very ergonomically pleasing to hold. They're not the most robust, but they're very sleek, slender, which allows you to get into places that you're definitely not going to get into with pliers like this, or the Irwins, or even the channel locks. I mean, even look at the difference in these. The taper of the nose goes much longer, and it's much more gradual than even what these smaller channel locks are. So you're going to get into tighter spaces. They're not super thick, they're very sleek. So that is the advantage of having these over something like this. Now, if you need a set of needle nose pliers to beat up on, by all means, you can certainly get some needle nose pliers like this, or some of the ones that were suggested in Mr. Farm's video, but they do have pros and cons. And, like I said, I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit and kind of introduce you all to, what is the benefit of Knipex needle nose pliers. and, you know, kind of put my 2 cents out there. I appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out. As always, if you want to support the channel, the affiliate link for KC Tool is in the description below. Make sure you like, comment on the video, and let me know what you all think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong about this, or if you agree with my assessment of Mr. Project Farm's video. But that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.